Hi, everybody. I'm Stacy.
And I'm her daughter, Mickey.
Welcome to KiddieNomics! Yay! So thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Friday call. We're super excited, as usual, to talk all about financial literacy. So before we get started, let me just share my screen with everybody. Awesome. So there we go. All right. So before we get started, I'd just like to do our housekeeping items as usual. We'd like to thank all the frontline service workers, all of the health workers just helping us keep us safe and healthy throughout this time.
And the parents who keep us entertained.
And the parents for keeping us entertained. Thank you all parents. I guess that's our parent job now, to keep our kids entertained. But thank you, everybody that's keeping us safe and healthy through this time. So we just like to reiterate, why is KiddieNomics here? KiddieNomics is here to help develop kids ages 8+ to have a healthy relationship towards financial literacy. Just helping to kickstart you guys off on the right path to have a successful financial future. So today we have a special guest, Miss Billie-Jane Bolton-Rojo. We are super excited to have her on today. So just a little bit about Miss Billie-Jane. She is a financial specialist helping individuals, families, and business owners build a financial legacy. Her pillars involve creating a knowledge legacy with the gift of education and RESPs, protecting legacy with personal insurance, and enhancing business legacy with strategic insurance solutions. Billie-Jane is a mother or mom of 3 awesome kiddies, helping to teach them financial literacy skills. So thank you so much, Billie-Jane, for joining us today. Billie-Jane is going to be talking all about saving. Yay! So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and she's going to start hers. Stop. There she is. Hi.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm so excited to be doing this. I just, trying to get this to show the right screen that I want so awesome. We can go through this awesome presentation.
So while you're doing that, just to remind kids to have your book and your pencil ready to take notes, right? You want to make sure you guys take your notes. And of course, the chat box is there for you guys to make sure you ask any of the questions that you like. I will monitor the chat box as usual, and Miss Billie-Jane will also see the questions that you guys have. So remember, it's full participation. You guys ask all the questions you want. And just on a side note, we may run about 5 minutes over because Miss Billie-Jane has a lot of information for you guys. So it may be about 5 minutes over, but we'll see, okay? All right, take it away.
Okay, so just trying to get this. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because the PowerPoint is not working. Challenges sometimes with technology. I apologize for that.
Okay, now you're out.
Yeah, so we're going to try and launch this again. And I was so excited, and this is supposed to go so perfectly, but we're gonna get this to work.
Sometimes take it out of the PowerPoint presentation mode and just keep it as individual. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Do you see the presentation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Savings for kids.
Okay, this is what I want. Yes, okay. So I am so excited to be sharing this information with you. I think it is so great that, that Stacy and her daughter are bringing this awesome information for you. So let's get started. My son helped me with this presentation, so I hope you find it fun. All right, so I'm excited to teach you guys about saving. And when we're done, you guys are going to be experts on savings, why it's important. You're gonna know what is interest. You're going to know what is the difference between saving and investing, and you're going to know the different ways to save. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so why is saving important? Now, I wonder how many of you guys have actually been on one of KiddieNomics' other webinars about budgeting? Miss April Mullings shared a really good tip when she was teaching us about creating a spending plan. She said we should do something first. Do you remember what that was?
Save.
Pay yourself first. That's right, hun, to save. Pay yourself first. Then you can save. As you're saving, you get to save up money for something that you want in the near future, like an iPad. My son really wants an iPad Pro, or, you know, video game consoles, or even a bike, right? This is what we save for. So before we get into savings, we first have to make some money, right? Tell me some ideas, my dear, of how you save money. What ideas do you have? Not save, but make money. Let's hear some ideas.
Chores.
Sure.
Sorry, chores. Yes, very good. I've got a few other ones. Maybe you want to have a lemonade stand, make some money. Or, oh, I saw somebody raise a hand.
Type your question into the chat box for us when you raise your hand.
Okay, cool. Or you could mow the lawn. Look at that. Listen, if there's anyone who can mow lawns, I would love it. You can come and help me out and I would pay you. And as you said, we can have chores and we can make money all those ways. But did you know that money can make money too? We call it interest. That's how money gets paid. Okay? There are different ways that money can get paid, different types of interest. One is simple interest, where your money earns a basic salary, okay? Then we've got something called compound interest, where your money makes a salary, but guess what? The money that you money made also makes a salary. It's really awesome. We're gonna go do an example, okay? We're gonna look at some math. We're gonna talk about simple interest. So let's say you saved up your money in your piggy bank. You got about $100 and you're ready to put it to work. You wanna get it a job. That $100 is called your principal. What's it called?
Principal.
Yes, principal. All right. We take our principal and we put it to work. And let's say it makes $10. For those of you who are really good with math, $10 is 10%. So we said that your money made 10% interest. But let's say you take that $10 that your money made and you go and you buy some toys, right? Like maybe a Barbie or a Beyblade. So you used it, and what are you left? You still left with your $100, and you can put it to work again. That's simple interest. Now let's talk compound interest. Let's say you take that same $100, that principal, you put it to work, and it earns you $10, okay? But you don't spend it this time. You leave it, and in fact, you also put the $10 to work. So now you've got $110. $100 you started with plus your $10 interest. So $110, you're gonna put that to work. Now that $110 makes even more money. It makes 10%, but 10% on 110 this time is $11. And this keeps going on. We call this compounding because it grows even faster. What's awesome about compounding is that your money's salary makes its own salary. So the $10 that you made makes another 10% on itself to make another dollar, and that's how we get $11 the next time around. See how awesome that is?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's look at an example, okay? Where we're gonna look at this. I know it's a big chart, lots of numbers, but we're gonna work through this together. And we're gonna pretend that we put our $100 to work, and it goes to work every day, and it earns its salary every day, okay? So let's look at the simple interest column, all right? So if we take our $100, we put it to work. Remember I said 10%, how much interest we make? $10. But we spend our $10. So what are we left with? $100. But guess what? We're gonna put that $100 to work again on day 2, and it's also gonna make $10. We take it out, we do something with it, but we still have our $100. We're gonna put it to work again. We do this every day. For in this case, we're going up to 10 days. I'm gonna show you what it looks like after 10 days. So after 10 days, your money makes $10 every single day. So after 10 days, that's $100. You started with 100, it earned another $100, which is awesome. And at the end, we have our $100 to put it to work again. But let's talk about compound interest. Compound interest this time, we're not taking out the $10 to go and buy something. We're gonna leave it and put it to work as well. So on day 1, we have our $100, it earns $10. We're left with $110 this time, right? We've got our $100 plus its salary, the $10, $110 altogether. We do it again on day 2. So now we got $110 in there. It makes a salary. This time it makes $11. We don't take it out. So it grows. 110 plus 11 is 121. Now we put our 121 in there. It earns a salary, this time $12.10. So we have even more money. If we keep doing this all the way to day 10, we would have $259 in our account. How much interest did we make? $159. Isn't that better than $100?
Yes.
Right? Let's keep going. Let's go. Let's check out what happens in another 10 days. So,
do any of the kids have any questions about that?
Oh, good time to pause.
Yeah. Any questions in the chat box? You guys want to put any questions in there? Are you guys understanding between simple and compound interest with Miss Billie-Jane? Yeah. All right, keep going.
Awesome. Okay, so if we keep going another 10 days, let's look at our simple interest. It looks exactly the same as what we saw in the last 10 days. Every day you put your $100 to work, it earns a $10 salary. And then we take it out and we do something with that $10 and we put the $100 in. So by the end of 20 days, we now have earned $200 on our $100. But if we let it compound, we see that our interest grows all the way to $572 over 20 days. So
wow.
Now, yes, it's amazing. Like you have $672. You started with 100 and it grew to $672. You made $572 on your money compared to 200. Let's do a full month. Let's get to day 30 and look at that number at the end for compound interest. For simple interest, you would have $300 in interest. For compound, $1,644 in interest. Come on, what would you prefer, simple or compound?
Mickey's trying to figure out a way now that she could get compound interest on her chore money.
That's it. I'm going to show you. We're going to talk about how you can get this compound interest. Now, let me tell you about this example, okay? I made this example super easy and super compressed so you guys can understand. But if you go and you save your money somewhere and you earn interest, it doesn't earn as big a salary as 10%, not on average for savings. And it usually takes longer. So, you know, we have to sort of set some expectations. But the thing is, I wanted you to understand the power of compounding. And when we do it over a month like this, it's really cool, really powerful. So you just finished telling me that we looked at $300 of interest, simple interest, compared to $164. That's where we want to be, okay? Wow! Compounding is powerful. Okay, this is why we need to think about compounding when we are saving our money. So what's the difference between saving and a whole new term called investing? When we're saving, you're saving for something that you want in the near term, okay? Like let's say you're saving for a bike. Well, when you save, you want to keep that money safe, don't you, until you need it. You also want to make sure you don't lose any money. And your money gets paid, but it doesn't always get paid a lot, okay? Because we're trying to be really safe with it. And we also want to make sure that when we're ready to get our bike, we can take out our money easily. We don't have to worry about it. Now, investing, we're thinking about something in the far future, like your dreams. Maybe you're thinking when you grow up, you want to have a house or you want to have a car, or you're thinking about, oh my gosh, what I love is when kids tell me they want to go to school and they want to grow their brains and they want to do something really awesome, like be a doctor, a lawyer, or an actress or an artist. All of that stuff takes money, so we're investing into the future. In this case, you want your money to grow. That's your focus, so we can fill your dreams. Yes, we want it to grow. Now, when you're investing, you might invest in something and you gotta expect some ups and some downs. We call that risk, when we're not sure what's gonna happen. But in the long term, when we're thinking long way out, things are gonna go up, okay? Now, when you're investing, you're keeping in mind, this is for my far future, so you don't need your money right away. So you're okay with it being locked away. You're okay that you don't necessarily need to get at it right away. Those are the two things to think about when saving versus investing. So now we're gonna play a game. I don't know how many people we have involved, but I would love to separate into two teams. We got a saving team and we got an investing team. So maybe in the chat, you can say if you're a saver or you're an investor. My dear, are you gonna be a saver or an investor?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll take investing.
You're an investor. Okay, so you be a saver, okay?
Okay. Oh, so Benjamin says he'll be an investor.
Okay.
So that's awesome. So, okay, I'll be the investor and Mickey will be the saver.
All right, Nikki,
So,
you're the saver. So what we're gonna do,
And Benjamin, you're on my team.
all right, whoop, whoop. I love it.
Who's on Mickey's team? Who's the saver?
Yes, we need savers on Nikki's team.
Oh, Peyton's an investor. Hey, Peyton. Okay, Benjamin. We need some savers, though. We need some savers.
Lonely.
Mickey's lonely on her team. We
We
need a
can't be on
saver.
our own. So, okay, well, let's get on with this game, and I'm hoping somebody's going to join Nikki's team.
Naya says she's an investor. All right, so we need to find one other saver in the
Please.
group.
We need
Okay,
another
Egypt.
saver.
Yay! Cody.
Yeah.
All right. So we have some savers. Yay!
Awesome.
Okay, ready to
Okay.
play.
So, the savers, we're going to put our money somewhere really safe. We're still thinking we're making 10% interest, and we're going to start with our $100, okay? And remember, we learned the difference between simple and compound. We like compounding, right? So savers, your money is compounding. Investors, you decided, that you wanted to maybe own a bit of a company. Let's say, hey, you guys like iPads, right? Maybe Apple makes iPads. Let's say we become an owner of Apple. Now, when you become an owner of a company, you got to be prepared that maybe sometimes you'll do really well and sometimes you may not do so well. That's sort of how it goes when you run a business, okay? But you stay in for the long haul because you will make money in the long run. So, my investors, you got to be prepared that sometimes your money will double, or maybe you might lose half your money. So let's see what's happening. We're doing this for 10 days. So my savers, you put in your $100, your principal, it earns $10, 10% interest. You've got $110 after day one. Investors, your money doubled. So now your $100 went to $200, whoop, whoop, okay. Now day two, savers, you put your $110, it earned 10% interest, you got $121. Investors, your money doubled again, your $200 now doubled to $400. Whoa, okay. Savers, $121. We get our 10% interest, we now have $133. Investors, whoop, whoa, we lost half. We now are down to
We lost half.
we lost half. You're down to 200. Day four, savers, we've got $133. We get our interest. We now have $146. Investors, wah, wah, we lost again. Half. We're down to 100. Day five, savers, we're still plugging along. We now got $161. Investors, what? Score, you doubled. You now have $200 again.
Yay, some of our money.
We got $177. Investors, you doubled again.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win.
Savers, we've got $177. We invest again, $194. Investors, you double again. We're now at $800. What?
Good. Yay. Where
Savers,
are my investors at?
savers, keep going, keep going. We now have $214. Day seven? No, day 8. Uh-oh. Investors, we lost half. $400. Day 9, savers, we're making money. We're at $235 now. Investors, you doubled again. We're now at, where are we? We're at 800. We're back at 800 again. Savers, we're still working. $259 after 10 days. Investors, you lost money. We lost half, but we're still at $400. Who made more money, the savers or the investors?
Investors.
I'm sorry, Nikki. I'm sorry. It doesn't always work that way. It depends where we were.
Yes, Benjamin.
Now, investors,
Cheating.
how did you feel in that ride? Let's say you were saving for a bike that you wanted to buy in 10 days. How did you feel? Roller coaster, eh? Whew, you didn't know if the money was gonna be there. Yep, it was going up, it was going down. Now, investors, how would you feel if you were saving for maybe a house in 20 years? I think you could hang in there. I know there were ups and downs, but imagine you're on an escalator. It's still going up. But
Caroline says that she'll be an investor next time.
But saving
he's scared to lose his money.
Say that again.
Benjamin said he's scared to lose his money.
I like that, and that's something to think about. So when you think about the different jobs, let's talk about people. Let's talk about our jobs. We've got safe jobs. We got risky jobs. Let's talk about a safe job. Like, look at this lovely gentleman giving us our coffee. He works at a coffee shop. He can feel pretty good about his income, right? About his job, right? And he feels good that he'll have a job tomorrow, okay? But let's take a look at the risky job. Do you want to be a window cleaner?
No.
That's a lot of work. That's scary. Who do you think should get paid more? The window cleaner or the coffee person?
Risky job.
The risky job.
Yes, the risky job should get paid more because you're putting a lot more on the line.
But Angel, you got to type your question in the chat box.
Yeah.
When you raise your hand, please type your question in the chat box, okay?
Do we have any questions so far?
Yeah,
Darnell also raised his hand.
Yes. But you guys have to type your questions in the chat box.
Yes, please put your questions in your chat box because I want to answer your questions. That's the only way we could see them.
Yes.
So you put that in. I'm going to keep going. You put in your question. We're going to come back to it, okay?
Oh,
now,
we lost the screen.
You lost my screen?
Yes. Can you bring it back?
Yeah. Was it this one? Do we see it again? Is the screen back?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So, you know that your money can also have different jobs? There are some safe jobs for your money, and there can be riskier jobs for your money. Now, when you put your money in the bank, it's super safe. That's a safe job. Okay. And so you can expect that your money, just like you said, you thought that the coffee guy would probably make less money. Same idea. You put your money somewhere really safe, it'll probably make less money. How does money make money? Through interest, right? So the interest will probably be lower. Now, when money has a riskier job, like you said, the window cleaner, got to get paid more, okay? Like when you invest in a company, remember? That was a roller coaster ride, right? We didn't know if we were going to make money or not. So we want to make sure we get compensated for that. We have to be paid for the risk we're willing to take. That's our reward. So you can expect your money to make more money, though, over the long term, generally. That's the way we should be investing, okay? Why isn't it advancing? Oh, sorry. There we go back. Did you like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back. So, right. So now that you understand the difference, with investing, we want our money to grow fast because, well, not just grow fast, but we want our money to grow. We're thinking about the future and we're willing to take some risk for it to grow. So there's something that you can use to measure how fast your money will grow. And so a lot of us like to think, how long does it take for our money to double? That's really cool. Remember with our game, we started with $100 and then we saw that it doubled, right? And even for our savers, remember we started with $100 and we ended up with $259. Our money more than doubled, right? Well, we want to look at the different jobs that money can have and figure out how long it would take. There's a special rule called the rule of 72, which helps us to figure out how long it would take for our money to double. There's a little calculation I put down there, 72 divided by the interest rate. That tells you how many years it'll take for your money to double. And we're really thinking about this, especially with investing. So let's check it out. Remember we said for our savers, we're making 10%. So 72 divided by 10 is 7.2 years. Our example, our money doubled much, much faster. Remember I said that I compressed it to 30 days? It usually takes longer. We're usually talking about earning interest in a year. So that's why the rule of 72 tells us how many years. So 72 divided by 10 is 7.2 years. But let's say we found an investment that made 20% interest. 72 divided by 20 is 3.6 years. That's half as much time for our money to double. So investors, you got to look at the interest rate, or another term for interest rate with investing is return, and that tells you how long it'll take for your money to double, because we like doubling. I know you guys had fun with that.
Yes.
So any questions about that so far? Any comments, Nikki? All right. So when you want your money, okay, you need your money soon because we're saving for a bike. We need to save because we want to keep it safe. Just like Benjamin says, he didn't like losing money. Neither do I when I want to buy a bike, okay? So we need to save to keep it safe. Where can you save? Well, you know, you can save in the bank. The bank's awesome.
Miss Billie-Jane, sorry. One of the kids just said, could you explain rule of 72 again, please?
Absolutely. Let's go back and look at the rule of 72. So at the very bottom of the slide, there is a formula. We take so the rule of 72 basically helps us to measure how long it'll take our money to double. Remember our game, our savers? We started with $100 and we played our game for 10 days. And after 10 days, we had $259. Well, guess what? Our money doubled. So we want to measure how long it takes our money to double. In our game, it took 10 days. That's because we paid interest every single day. But in the real world, we don't get paid interest every day. Usually we get paid interest on an annual basis. So when we want to figure out how long it'll take our money to double, it's usually in years. To calculate that, we take 72. That's why they say the rule of 72. We take the number 72 and we divide the interest rate that we will earn. So remember our example was 10%. 72 divided by 10 is 7.2 years. So in a normal investment that's making 10%, it takes us 7.2 years for our $100 to turn into $200, okay? The next slide, I showed you an example. If our investment made 20%, our 72 divided by 20 is 3.6 years. So our $100 would take 3.6 years to turn into $200. That's the rule of 72. And we need to think about that when we're investing because we can get different jobs for our money. We want to know if the job is going to pay us enough money for it to double in a reasonable time. Okay? So we were talking about, just to go back, we were talking about saving, and you can save in a bank. And here in Canada, we have something called the Canadian Depository Insurance Corporation. Really big word, but basically its job is to protect your money. So no matter what, if you have to go to the bank and say, I want anything up to $100,000, the bank's got to make sure your money is there. If you put $100,000 in the bank, it's got to be there. It's called insurance. It's protection to make sure your money is there. That's what's also really safe about investing in a bank. Not investing, I'm sorry, saving. I used the wrong word, didn't I, Nikki? So investing, now when you don't need your money for a while because we're thinking about our dreams, we've got some time. We want to invest. Okay, because we want our money to grow. We think about that rule of 72. We need to make more money because remember, at the bank, it's a safe job. Doesn't pay as much interest, but you can invest in things like a house or stocks or even things like gold or things like bonds. What's really awesome here on KiddieNomics, Stacy and Nikki had a video already about some investing. They talked about stocks, they talked about real estate. So I encourage you to go back. All of these videos I mentioned, go back and scroll through and find the video to help you put all of this information together, okay? So the thing is, I forgot to mention before we moved on, when you invest, there's no such thing as Canadian Depository Insurance. There's no CDIC. We take the risk ourselves. So if the money's not there, the money's not there. But our goal is to make some good, smart investment decisions so that we make money and not lose money, okay? Now, there are different ways to save. This one I'm showing is the basic way that I'm sure so many of you guys are saving with a piggy bank. How much interest do you earn in a piggy bank, Nikki?
Nikki, how many interest do you earn on a piggy bank?
When you put your money in your piggy bank, does it make money?
No.
0, okay? 0 interest in a piggy bank, but the piggy bank is awesome because it helps you to get all of your, we don't have pennies anymore, but our nickels, our dimes, our quarters, our loonies, you need to get your parents to give you some bills and squish it in the hole too, okay? We can accumulate it until we've got a good amount that we can take to the bank. And now we'll talk about the different ways to save. Kids can have a savings account. So cool, you can go to the bank and open up an account and it can earn a little bit of interest because they want to keep it really safe. They also have something called high interest savings account where it'll earn even more interest just than a regular savings account. And for those of you that don't need your money in, let's say, a year, let's say you're saving for something and you need it in about a year, year and a half. I know we're kind of getting into investing territory, but you can still do something like a Canada savings bond where you lend your $100 to the government. The government uses it to do all sorts of cool things for all of us Canadians, and they will pay your money interest, okay? Or you can go to the bank, and the bank also has something called a GIC. GIC stand for Guaranteed Investment Certificate. And the bank will promise to pay your money some money through interest. But you gotta lock it in for about a year, okay? For the savings bond and the GIC, you gotta lock it in for a little bit. So next we're gonna talk about opening a bank account.
Sorry, just a quick question.
Yes.
One of the kids, Amika, wants to know, can you explain the different ways to save again? So the
Yes.
GIC, the bonds, high interest savings account. Yeah, just go back to that slide.
Okay, isn't it cool how it goes backwards?
Love it.
So a savings account, you know, you can open up a kid's savings account where your name is on the account. You can go to the bank and you can open up an account with your parents, and it's just for you, for your money to grow, okay? In terms of, when I say grow, it's not because it's growing a lot because of interest, it's because it's really growing because you keep putting money into it. Instead of just using your piggy bank, right? You can keep putting money into a savings account, all right? It doesn't pay very much interest, okay? I've seen it like 0.35, that's not even 1%, okay? Very little interest, but it is safe because we want a bike, right? We want to make sure our money is safe. So that's a savings account. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how to open one. And then we've got something called a high interest savings account because it earns higher interest than a regular savings account. The banks have these, and then they also have these really cool online banks. I don't know if you've heard of something like Tangerine. By the way, I should mention to everyone who's here that we're talking about Canadian banks because we're here in Canada. So some of the institutions I may mention are Canadian institutions, okay? So if you want a high interest savings account, the banks can have it, but you can also find it at some place like Tangerine, where they may have a high interest savings account that pays you more interest than a regular bank account. And I've seen like 2% there. Canada Savings Bonds. This one is now we're okay to buy your bike for next year. You're okay to lock it in. So you can buy a savings bond, which really is giving the government your money, your $100 for a year, and they'll pay you interest. And after the year, they'll give you the interest and your money back. With a GIC, it's called a Guaranteed Investment Certificate. You'd go to the bank for that one as well, and you give them your money, your $100. They will hold it for a whole year and then give you your interest. But you are locked in. You can't take it out before the year. Okay, that's the thing with Canada Savings Bonds and GICs. There's generally about a year, but you can even leave it in for longer. If you're leaving it in longer, you're thinking more investing, and we want to think about all of our choices for investing because we're thinking rule of 72 when we're investing, okay? But those are some other options for kids who don't need the money right away, and you want to keep it safe in a bank, and you can get a little bit more interest than your regular kids savings account. Any other questions?
No, Amiga said, thank you so much. Benjamin said, cool.
Good stuff. I like the coolios. Oh, I saw another raised hand. I don't know. You guys make sure to put your comments in the question and answer area so we can read it and I can answer them for you. So let's talk about opening a bank account and some of the features. It's a big word. So you can get a bank card. I don't know if you guys seen your parents have a card like this. You can go to a bank and get a bank card and you can deposit your money there at the bank, or you can go, if you got one of these cards, you can go to a machine and you can put your money in through the machine, okay? Now, your bank account is gonna pay you some interest. You need to investigate the different kinds. Here in Canada, we've got like 4 big banks. I'm thinking of RBC, we've got TD, we've got Scotiabank, we've got Bank of Montreal. I think those are the big 4 ones, right? Can you think of another one? I think I got them all. And you can walk in and they give different interest rates. Some don't pay much interest, some 0%, some 0.35%. Others, especially when we get to the high interest savings ones, they may pay like over 2%, okay? So those are the things to think about when you open up a bank account. Whoa, you gotta think about fees. When you open up a bank account, the bank wants to get paid for helping you to save. They want to get paid for taking care of your money for you. Now, they vary. So it's important when you go with your mom and dad to ask the question, what are the fees? Some have no fees. Others have monthly fees, okay? So it's important to understand that. And then you also need to know what types of transactions. Typically for a savings account, what are you trying to do? You're trying to
Save.
So we typically don't want to do withdrawals, okay? Now, of course, you're gonna need your money at some point. So there's ways that you can get at your money, but typically they don't like a lot of withdrawals because then they start to charge you money. They want you to save. They wanna help you to save. Don't worry, you can get at your money. There are ways that your parents can help you to do that. But the way it's set up, generally they don't like you withdrawing the money directly out of that savings account. And bonuses, we love bonuses, don't we? Yeah. So some banks offer bonuses for opening up a savings account. I can tell you RBC, if you open up what they call a Leo account, and that's for kids, they'll give you $25 to start. Isn't that cool? The different banks offer different bonuses. So when you go in there with your parents, you ask, what bonus will I get for opening an account with you? Okay, because we like to get some money. Now, Stacy, I don't see you. I've lost you. But let me explain to you what you need to open a bank account. What do you need? Your parents! First of all, Nikki, you can't go to the bank by yourself and say, I want to open up a bank account. You need to go with mom, okay? So you need your parents first and foremost. And when you go to the bank, you actually have to go into a bank, okay? And you might have to sit there and talk to somebody, or remember I said there are online banks like Tangerine? Your parents can actually help you to do it online. Now, whenever you open up an account, they want to make sure that you're who you are. So they want some ID. They want ID for you, and they want ID for your parents to make sure that you are you. So they want a birth certificate. They will want something called a social insurance number. That's like a special identifier that the government has just for you. Every one of you, when you were born, if your parents set it up, the government has a number for you, and it's called a social insurance number. So you can bring that in with you to the bank as well. Or maybe you don't have that yet. Your parents can apply, and I encourage you to tell your parents, apply for my social insurance number, because there's lots of things that you can do when you have a social insurance number, even for kids, especially when it comes to investing. Now, if you don't have a birth certificate, well, because maybe you weren't born here, you can go with your passport, okay? Lots of different types of ID. What your parents need to do is call the bank and find out what they need, but you know you need some ID. Now, we know that this is an account for kids. It's hard for kids to do things all by themselves. So the parents, mom and dad, can be on the account with you. We call that joint. So they can help you, especially when you want to get the money out and you want to get your bike. Your parents can help you to get at your money. Okay, so what happened here? Oh, quiz time! I didn't tell you guys I was gonna have a quiz. All right, quiz. So first question, let's see how well you were listening. What type of interest grows on your interest? So what I mean here is, what type of interest helps your interest to earn interest as well? Is it simple interest, or is it compound interest, or is it risky interest? What do you think? What do you think, Nikki? Got a hand raised. Put it in the comments. Let's hear your answer. Let's hear your answer.
B.
B.
B, compound interest. Good listening, peeps.
Yay, Darnell said B, compound. Benjamin said compound.
Woo!
Karen said B, compound. Good job, guys.
Everyone is listening and learning.
Hey.
Next question. What calculation can you use to figure out how long it takes for your money to double? We talked about this more than once, because someone had a really good question about it. So I'm hoping it really stuck. What do you think? Is it an interest calculator? Is it time value? Or is it the rule of 72?
Rule of 72.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Williamson said rule of 72. Egypt,
Oh.
rule of 72.
Good.
Karen, rule of 72. Everybody's saying rule of 72. Yay!
Even
You guys are A++ right now.
You guys are really smart.
You are super smart, and you're super smart with your money now, because we've learned. Now, when you receive some money, what's the first thing you should do? Buy an Xbox controller. What do you think? Pay yourself first. What do you think, peeps?
Pay yourself first.
Yay!
Who else? What is the chat saying? What's the chat saying?
Oh, Jasmine says B. I think all the kids are saying
B.
B. Janaya says B.
Ah, I love it, guys. Pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first, Darnell. Awesome, guys.
Look at guys.
You're so
Guys.
awesome.
You guys are awesome. I really, what, Nikki?
She said this is so cool.
I'm so glad you're having fun. Nikki, everybody, I encourage you to go back and watch Miss April Mulling's video about budgeting, because it gives you lots of tips, starting with paying yourself first, but it gives you lots of tips on how to plan how you're going to spend your money, okay? Next one, when you want to save for an iPad Pro, I keep mentioning this because my son wants an iPad Pro so bad, okay? What do you think you should do? Should you save? Should you invest? What do you think? You want an iPad Pro, save or invest?
Amiga says B, invest. Benjamin says save.
Let's hear
Both.
I think
Save.
both.
Michelle Williams says save.
The both.
Peyton says save.
Both.
You say both, Nikki?
Yeah.
No, save! You were halfway there, Nikki, okay? We want to save.
Yeah.
We want to save because we're planning to have our iPad Pro pretty soon. So we want to make sure that our money is safe, okay? So we want to save. Isn't that funny? Save. Okay, last one.
No.
Do you expect to get a higher interest rate with stocks? With a piggy bank?
Yeah.
A savings account? What do you think? Which one do you think you would have the highest interest rate?
The highest interest rate.
The highest interest rate.
Okay.
Let's hear what the chat
Allow people say
Everybody said,
C.
well, some people say C, some people say A.
So is it like 50-50?
It's about 50-50 right now.
Oh, that was a
We're going to
stinker.
go with A.
I'm gonna go A, because like starts with the first thing that I was actually learning when I was younger.
Yeah, she said.
Ah, yes. Do you know what?
Learning when she was younger.
For those of you guys who said A, you were right. Why? Because stocks are riskier. Remember we talked about the different jobs, right? For money jobs, stocks are riskier, but they will, and because it's riskier, you're going to earn higher interest rate. You should demand higher interest rate because you're putting your money at risk, so you want to get paid for it, okay? So stocks are the highest interest rate. Piggy banks, 0, okay? And savings accounts, remember I said it could be 0 all the way up to, even over 2%, depending on where you go. Oh my gosh, peeps, I had so much fun with you. Did you find this fun?
This one was the best one.
Oh, was it really? Thank you, girl.
Can you do another one?
Yes, Miss Billie-Jane is coming back next week.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
So
So
any questions?
Everybody
Any
said it was
questions?
fun and awesome. We did have one question, not related to the savings.
Wait, I have one question.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
one
yeah.
second. One of our kiddies wanted to know, what system are you using for your presentation?
Do you know what? Super basic. PowerPoint. PowerPoint, you probably have it on your computer, but just to give you a technology tip, there are tools called animations, and there's another tool called transitions that made all those really cool features. I didn't do it. I got my 10-year-old to do it. So I encourage you kids,
Do it.
hang out on that PowerPoint and play with it. You'll have so much fun.
Yay.
Yes.
So all
Any
the
other
kids
questions?
say thank you. They had so much fun. It was awesome. I'll be coming back next week, says Jasmine. That's
All right,
awesome.
Jasmine.
I hope you guys come back week after week. That's our
Yes.
goal. So
Absolutely. Nikki, you had a question before we leave.
Mickey. Sorry, Mickey.
Oh, Mickey, all this time, forgive me.
It's okay.
Your name is special, Mickey. Yes, my dear.
Okay, so I have a question for everyone. If you wanted to save $100, but you only had $50,
How could you, what's
No,
the
wait,
fastest
wait,
to
no.
save it? We have to hurry.
Okay, if you wanted to save $1,000 and you only have $100, how much would you need to save to get to 1,000?
Ooh.
How much more money would you need to get to 1,000? Okay. So I guess you guys can type that
Yeah,
in
I
the
think that's
chat
a good
box.
question for everyone. How much money?
$100, says Egypt, and she's right. Awesome.
So you got to figure out how you're going to get that $900, right? Whether you
Around 900. You
borrow
had
your house.
I had to change my mind.
she changed her mind.
Sorry.
Thank you very much, Miss Billie-Jane. We're gonna wrap up because I know we have gone a little bit longer than usual, but this was like super awesome.
I think it's the best one.
We all had super fun. So thank you very much, Miss Billie-Jane. Stop sharing your screen, and then I will wrap up.
Wait. Oh yeah.
So 1 second. Alrighty. So last question we always like to ask, what would happen if kids became more financially literate? And our answer is real change that impacts the world. Because we feel if you guys are more financially literate from when you're younger, you will grow into adults that will make sound financial decisions that will contribute to your financial success and enable you guys to have more financial freedom to do what it is that you want and help create like awesome things that could help change the world. So that's what we want for you guys. So that's why we're here week after week, to help you guys achieve those goals. So thank you so much. So we just wanted to talk about some upcoming weeks that we're going to be going on to. So Miss Billie-Jane is going to be back next week.
Yay!
We are so awesome, and we're like love having her. She'll be back on Friday, July 3rd. We'll be talking about RESPs for kids, which is Registered Education Savings Plan. So it's another form of savings. that we're going to get right into for kids, and we are so looking forward to it because she made it super fun for you guys to learn
And
savings. So this was fun, right? So thank you very much for coming back next week. After that, it will be Scott Roberts. We'll be going back to stocks. So it's going to be stocks 2.0. So if you guys haven't seen the first stocks one, please watch that one because it'll give you a basis, because we're going to go on and do more in-depth work into stocks. So we definitely want you guys to make sure you're caught up, right, on stocks. Then we're going to get into resume writing with Mahalia Critchlow on Friday, July 17th. It's going to be resume writing, which will be awesome. It may not be Mahalia. I think I'm going to have somebody else, but it will be resume writing for kids. That's going to be awesome because I got my first job when I was 11 years old, delivering the paper. So it is never too early to start to understand what do you need on a resume, because you guys may be going out and getting some jobs for this summer, right? So you need a resume. Yeah, you're going to need to do that.
Can you set that up?
Yes, okay. And then after that, this is a really special one, and I'm super looking forward to this one because we're going to be doing vision boarding. Now you guys are probably wondering, like, what is a vision board and why are we doing it for financial literacy? So we are going to talk more about that, but just to set you guys up, this is going to be something that's going to be all fun for the family. So get your parents to sit down with you for this one that's coming up on Friday, July 24th. You guys are going to need a cardboard and you're going to need some magazines. So great places to find a magazine is at the library. You can buy them for 25 cents usually at the library. Or if your parents are out and about and they see any magazines lying around anywhere, please please grab some magazines, okay? So that's going to be awesome. So I'll tell you guys more about the vision boarding, but please look out for the magazines, okay? Contest alert time. Yeah. So I want to see some progress from you guys, from everybody on the line. So we are going to be giving away, again, our ebook that we wrote a couple of years ago that was published called I Will Own a Castle. And it just helps you guys, everybody learn the skills for saving and investing your money, which is what we talked about here today. So the first 10 kids that tags us on KiddieNomics on Instagram or Facebook with a picture of you doing the activity, I'll send you an electronic copy of I Will Own a Castle. And just remember to like our pages so that we know that you're there, okay? So we'll be here week after week, but we want to help you guys become tiny financial literacy ambassadors. So we want to hear from you. What else do you guys want to learn about? Let me know so that we can get, more experts on the show. But we have a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline, which you're going to be super excited about. But if there's anything that comes across your mind and you're like, you know what, I would really love to learn about this, please send us a message either through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And don't forget to watch our YouTube channel because all of the past videos are on our YouTube channel, okay? And don't forget to use the hashtag KiddieNomics or Ask KiddieNomics. And that's about it. Right?
This was fun.
Oh, yes, and we have TikTok, but we haven't posted a video yet, so we'll get there. We'll get there with TikTok. We'll get there with TikTok. Anyways, I don't want to keep you guys longer. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Miss Billie-Jane. You did awesome. So give her a round of applause. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
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 That was